Confident from from Expansion Network, as you know, accelerating the consciousness of humanity every single week, and also known in Latin America as the president and co-founder of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation. And here we are, it's Saturday morning here in Dallas, Texas, and this side of the world. And we have another Saturday this is the reality check on the planet, living without fear. I titled the show today New Viewpoints, because I think we're going to have a very interesting viewpoint today. Is that about right, Judy?
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so excited for today. First of all, thank you, Angel, for arranging for this, for having us come together every Saturday morning. What a beautiful, beautiful way, at least for me, to start the week, the weekend with this expanded conversation here with this beautiful connection. So thank you. And yes, in a few minutes, I'm super excited to introduce to you our guest today, who's been a beautiful friend of mine. And you're right, expanded viewpoints, incredible stories, very excited.
Exactly. Last week, so could you introduce yourself a little bit more? I mean, obviously the audience already knows you because we've been so many weeks already here.
Yeah.
You being traveling all over the place. We've been, we started this when you were actually in Serbia, I think it was, and you had just been in Tanzania. And then, you went to Montenegro and then to Albania, and we have had guests from Costa Rica, guests from Mexico, from Guatemala, you name it.
From everywhere, yeah.
Exactly. Just briefly share with the audience, who you are, what you do.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. So basically, I met Angel years ago. We were introduced somehow through online, through the beautiful magic that happens, the web. And I was interviewed. And a few years later, Angel started noticing that I was traveling. He was watching me on social media traveling. I just spent about 3.5 months traveling 4 different countries that have very few, if any, COVID restrictions. And just having the time of my life is showing everybody these parallel universes that are happening all over the world. And that's when we decided to come together and create this beautiful magic every Saturday morning to share what's happening in other parts of the world, but also to bring other people into the conversation as well, which is what we've been doing. So it's been such a pleasure. I'm now back in Toronto, back home, and loving it too, because again, it's all about sort of what are we working on, what are we creating, what are we focusing on, and here we are. Beautiful.
Awesome. All right. So today we have a very, very special guest. I think he's in Canada. His name is V2. And I don't know if you would like to introduce him because he's a personal friend of yours.
I would love that. Thank you.
So go ahead.
So V2 came into my life probably about 10 or 12 years ago when I was going through an enormous shift in my life, a shift, an opening to expansion, to new beliefs, to new thoughts, what we call sort of that spiritual awakening, huge shift in my life. He became a beautiful friend through another network of friends. He became a spiritual mentor to me, huge influence in my life. And he has an incredible story, which I am so excited. He's finishing up his book now to tell this story. When he was a little boy, you're about to hear his story, what happened to him and his family when he was a little boy, what has happened since through his adulthood, what has happened now with his whole family as a very big family of siblings, all about living without fear, facing the fear, pushing through the fear, living without fear. And I just thought, what an appropriate, beautiful story for him to share with all of us. And I just ask you all listening to open up your heart, listen to this story, see yourself in this story, see yourself through your own fears as well. V2, welcome. How are you feeling?
Welcome, V2.
I don't know what to say. Wow, what an introduction. I'm just in awe. I'm so grateful. It's beyond measure. The fact I'm sitting here alive today, 2021. So what Judy was saying, I don't know how old you guys are. Back in the 70s, there was a Vietnam War, and after the war, there was communism. They took over the country, and it was very strict under the worst kind of regime. And we were, my parents from Chinese, Vietnamese born Chinese. So a lot of us had businesses. So if you had any kind of ownership, whatever you own belongs to the state. So you had choices. Either if you stay, you have to live with the regime. And I still remember the day even if you have money, you could not buy what you want. You were told how much to spend per number of person in a house.
Wow.
So that's kind of restriction. Just to I'm fast tracking the story. So after the 1975, the fall of Vietnam, people like us were either you stay, live with the regime, or the what they call reform, which is more like a concentration camp, or you find a way to get out. So the time a lot of people, the fast way to get out was on the boat, and you bribe the officials. So we were a family of, at the time it was 8 of us. I'm the oldest. And my parents said, my mom with zero education. She knew that she had to get us out of there. So two of them worked really hard, and it raised enough money and turned everything into pieces of gold. That's the currency we travel with. Wow. At the time, money was nothing. So I remember like 1 million, right? Still today, if you have $100 US, you're rich in Vietnam. It's worth $1 million. That's that's the trade. So they liquidated everything, turned into pieces of gold. All 8 of us got on a boat. 60 feet long, I think 10 feet, no, 8 feet wide, 200 plus people.
200 people on this boat. So cram,
yeah. Cram in the boat. Yeah.
Out of Vietnam.
Out of Vietnam. So it's all in the book. And by the way, this is one of my covers.
So excited. Oh my God.
Awesome.
Okay.
12
elephants and a dragon.
Wow. Which has an incredible storyline too.
And the back is where the elephants are. But I'll get to that in a minute. So we were very fortunate. We didn't encounter any pirates. That's another side of the story. See, we were very, very lucky. So 5 days just drifting aimlessly on this open sea without any navigation, without even a captain.
Oh my God.
Without a captain. It's a fishing boat. And we were jammed like sardines in the cabin underneath. We finally made it in Indonesia. We went to Malaysia first. They kicked us out because at that time it was already crowded with refugees. They dragged us on the open sea and left us alone again. So somehow we drifted. We were rescued by a cargo ship, by a U.S. cargo ship. I remember climbing this 40-foot ladder, wooden ladder, onto this big ship, like totally exhausted. And the first taste of Coca-Cola. And I'm still addicted to Coca-Cola now. Crackers and Coca-Cola after 5 days of no food, nothing. So they dropped us off. Next morning when I woke up, we were sitting on a rock or somewhere on a beach.
In which country? In which country?
Indonesia.
Indonesia, okay.
Yeah. So the officials came, picked us up, dropped us on another island where we got our registration done. We finally were registered as refugees. And then a few days later, they took us into another island where it's totally non-existent, no inhabitants, deserted island with palm trees and beaches.
And they left you there?
Left us there.
Oh, really? Oh,
I remember coming off the boat, someone off the boat. I mean, a tiny little beach, someone off the boat, walked into the beach. There's no harbor, nothing. I mean, water's up to my shoulder. I don't know how to swim.
Yeah.
So we walked onto this beach, and there we were, left to fend for ourselves. 600. Okay. So there was actually 2 boats. So the owner had 2 boats. We were the little one, we were the bigger one. So the owner's family was the bigger boat. So it's all in the book. Explains all that. So one boat dragged another boat. We have engine failure, like all kinds of stuff we're dealing with. So I'm fast tracking a lot here in 40 years. Okay.
Yeah. So
we made it on the island, and then a few weeks later, the locals came, and my parents only had $50 in US dollars in their pocket. That's all the money they have, and a few jewelry. So my parents were tailors, so they're very smart. They had all the money hidden in a waistband. Oh. All sewn in a jean. Like, well, we all wear like I felt like what do you call it? Astronaut, because we were dressed in 4 or 5 layers because you couldn't carry any baggages with you.
Yes.
And as tailors, they were able to customize these clothes for us to wear.
Wow.
So that's the only clothes we had. And I didn't know it was hidden in my belt. There were money and jewelries in there, just in case we get robbed. So that's the only money we had to survive for 9 months.
On that island. You guys were 9 months on that deserted island.
Yeah. and we have a video link, was videotaped by a Canadian CBC reporter back in 1979 of the island.
Who showed up
So
finally.
that was 1979. That was
1979. Yeah. So we were there in April, exactly like this month, like a month ago, where the book just finished writing. So we left on April 8th. We arrived around April 15, 16 on the Indonesia island. By August, we were sponsored by a family in Uxbridge. Actually, the whole township where I practice right now. I'm living in Uxbridge right now. A small town,
Ontario,
a small town northeast of Toronto.
Yeah.
Where I returned to practice. So we spent 9 months there. The whole town collectively sponsored our family. And I mean, like I told you, I'm pinching myself right now how lucky I am. We were not supposed to leave the island because nobody wanted us. All the industrial countries wanted people who have skills, people who have importance. Like, they don't want kids because kids are a burden to them.
Yes.
They want assets. We were not assets. We were detriment. But it turned out this cow, a group of people, it's all in the book, explain all in the book. They want to help us. We were the ones they picked.
You were the ones. Do you know why they picked you? Do you know why they picked you, Vito?
They somehow wanted a big family with kids. And we were the chosen ones.
Wow.
So everything is all serendipity. Like, you talk about accident and no accident. So on January 21st, we left the island to Singapore, to Uxbridge. And you imagine, we came from Vietnam where it's 30 plus degrees every day, or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, for those who's in the Fahrenheit. Right. We come here, it's like minus 30 Celsius. The snow's up to my knees, okay? Didn't know what snow was until I got here.
Yeah.
So we have to learn the English, we have to learn everything from scratch. And we stay here only for about a year and a half because at the time there's only 3,000 people in Uxbridge. It's just a small town with farms, okay? Yeah. Horse buckets and farms and cows and horses. That's all they had in those days. But people were so nice here. It's that love, the compassion, the wanting to help strangers. And that's why after I graduated we moved to Toronto because there's no jobs in those days. Moved to Toronto, we found a place called Ontario Housing, which is subsidized by the government. So found a house there. We stayed there, and my dad found a job because he was a tailor. So found a job with, I don't know if you know, Judy, called Tip Top Tailor. It's one of the people, yeah. So he worked there for years, okay? Oh, yeah. Making $3.85 an hour with 8 kids. But one of the sponsors is a chartered accountant. So he was very kind. So he helped us find a house. So the housing we were living in is a very crime infested place because of low income houses. Yeah. So he helped us move to another house. And with the help of one of the ladies who gave us $20,000 down deposit to the house, and we bought the house in 1985 for $86,000. By 1989, we pay everything off as a family. Wow. We worked. We didn't believe in mortgage. We didn't know what mortgages were. See, it's a different culture. Back at home, we don't know what mortgages are. Yeah. We want no debt. Okay, so I still remember going to the bank in 1989 to pay the rest of the mortgage. The guy goes, "Oh, you want to extend your mortgage 25 years?" I said, "What's that mean?" He said, "Well, most Canadians want to extend it." I said, "No, we give you a check here. We pay. We're finished." he was going to fell off his chair. He goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "We're done." No money dead. No, he was shocked. I guess it's different culture, right? Yeah. So I don't want to. I can spend all days on this stuff. So so I went to school, and so for me, from the island, I knew if in order for me to thrive and survive and not go back to this state again, I need to get a good education and invest the money properly. That's one of the things my grandfather taught me. So back in the day, back in Saigon, when I was born, he was classified one of the first class people, all from hard work. And he was a true believer in giving, and he even donated his money to open up private schools, hospitals, stuff like that. So he said, one day, what I'm doing is going to be for the benefit of you guys. And I see it right now. It's still unfolding as I live right now. Any giving, you get back unconditionally. Whether it's in form of money, energy, health, whatever you want to call it. It's never, it's like the rule of karma. It never ends. You give whatever good things you give out, you get back 10-fold, 100-fold. So fast forward, I got my degree in optometry, University of Waterloo. I want to come back to Uxbridge to practice. And people say, you're crazy, you can't do this here. It's still 3,000 people. So 2020, 2001, exactly 20 years ago, I came back to Uxbridge to open my practice. People say, you're crazy, you can't do this here. I looked up the word doctor. I said, what does it mean to be a doctor? Which they never teach you in school. And it's a Latin word for teacher, to teach. So I started teaching people. We now have about 15,000 patients. Wow. In a small town of Uxbridge. I was going to retire 8 years ago because, I don't know if you know, eye doctors, we spend a lot of time in a dark room, flipping lenses. And then the calling came up. You can't retire yet, it's too early. So I looked at the patient base. A lot of people have headaches, injuries, migraines, stuff like that. That cannot be cured by a lot of things. So as I started looking deeper, I discovered something called vision therapy. In other words, looking to retrain your brain through vision. So I started taking courses, that stuff they never taught us in school. I spent 4 years just heavily learning this stuff that they never taught us. And then finally I said, no, let's put it into practice. So 2015, 16, I started practicing this on a daily basis. We now help over 400 cases of people with concussion.
Wow.
And these are just that quick, just using lenses, that's it.
Hey, Vito, obviously you have an amazing story. Let me ask you something. Have you ever thought of going back to Vietnam?
Twice.
Like to visit? Twice. Oh, you've been twice?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So 2009, the first time I ever want to go back, I was scared to go back. Again, a lot of it's rumors, right? Rumors like, oh, you escaped, you did it. Oh, I'm like, they're gonna put you in jail. You can't do that. So I was so scared. Even the day before I left, I told my wife, like, no, we're not going. I'm so scared to go. I heard stories where they as soon as you're at the airport, they put you in jail. And I went back, I was treated like a king, not like a prince, because they want us back. Wow. They want us back. Yeah. So what I learned was that in 2009, this is like what, 25 years after the war, the people who had left Vietnam had bought in $7 billion of investment in the 1 year. Wow. These are people left with nothing. Wow. Came back, put the money back into the country, whether it's through donation, help rebuilding for the family, etc., etc. So so in 2015, I had the courage now to bring my parents back. But this time we went on a cruise ship, a 15-story cruise ship, 3,000 people in it. Okay, a big boat. So we were having breakfast on the 15th deck, which is like 50, 60 feet above sea level. And I'm looking down with my parents. I go, one of those little tenders that they take from island to island. That's the size of the boat we were in. But at least these are metal. Ours made of wood, okay? I said, so I asked my parents, I said, what went through your mind when you put us on that boat, that little boat? They go, we never thought about it. All we knew was that we had to get you guys out. And I go, okay. See, my monkey mind's going out, right? Because this is 40 years later. I'm still going, I would never put my kids in the boat like this.
Exactly.
They have no clue where we're going to go. There's no destination. There's zero chance of survival even. Something like 30% of people who left either drowned, got robbed, or killed, or something happened to them. Oh my God. And it's not recorded.
When Judy introduced you and she explained what a spiritual mentor you have been for her, obviously, from a human perspective, you were just explaining exactly. I mean, mom and dad, how could you possibly do that with no chances, right? With no clear path of what's that gonna take us, right? But knowing what you know today, what do you think will really happen? Why do you think that you finally reached a safe destination, V2?
That's a very good question. I don't think we ever reached a safe destination. I think it's just where your journey is. So along the way, I've met a lot of sages, which we all explain in the book. This is why the book's called 12 Elephants and a Dragon. The whole mission here is moving forward. How do we help transform 1 billion people with a B, not an M? And I'm not saying with any ego or arrogance. It's about how do we know our consciousness that whatever is holding us back, and some of them we review in the book, and these are the fear or the truth that's been holding me back, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. But I know my own story. But I think once the book is out, I'll be freer. And I think what my parents did was they did it at an unconscious level. They just knew in their hearts of hearts, they had to get us out in order for us to be in a whole new freedom level. Am I happier now than ever? Yes and no. We go through all kinds of ups and downs. And Judy kept mentioning the family. Yes, the family evolved. Like we were, I think sometimes looking back, I was much happier on the island where we had nothing than it is now. We have everything in a more materialistic thing. I remember doing the shows, snowing an angel on a sand. Okay, that's all we did. There's nothing else to do. You lay in the sand, look up the sky, look at the universe, and it's like free. Hey,
Wow.
would I trade that journey for anything? No. Would I want to do it again? No. But it happened. So I went to years and years of having this guilt, the shame, the regrets that most people probably holding and don't want to reveal the truth.
Yeah.
And I talk about it in the book. As long as I get consent from my sibling, I'm going to publish it. And I have an amazing publisher who's on my team right now. We're going to get it hopefully by July. It will be out. And I think that movement's already started. Like Judy called telling me about doing this talk. I had no idea what we were talking about. I don't know what we're going to talk about. But all I know is I'm like exposing my truth here.
Yeah.
And the truth is, yeah, I went through years of anger, guilt. Why do we have to go through all this? You guys have no, like, basically my parents, right? But they did the best they can. Or they could in those days, right? And remember, they had zero. A lot of people who had more money than we did and didn't want to leave because they were scared, and rightfully so, right? So when I was doing the research for the book, I went through a whole bunch of public articles and stories where, especially from Thailand, that was the worst country of all the pirates. They were strategically aiming for people like us because they knew people like us had the money, had the well-being. In order for you to leave, you have to have something. You can't just take on a boat. You got to pay somebody to get on. So they knew we had money, and they were doing it in a strategically as a team. It was awful. Like you're talking about the worst kinds of humanity to the people in Oxfordshire, like totally unconditionally say, we don't know you guys, but we want to help you.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But looking back, I think all the years I practiced, I pay more tax money than most people work the whole life.
Yeah.
But does that mean I'm better than them? No, I'm just better than myself every day. Right? Just yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask Judy. So,
wow.
I mean, actually, you were so bang on about the amazing journey of V2, Judy. And so, when did you guys? So you already said when you met. How did he become this spiritual mentor of yours? How did that happen?
Yeah. So
Judy.
I was at the time starting a new business, and I knew one of V2's really good friends. His name is Stelio Nikolakakis. He's also
don't bring Stel in this picture.
He's also an optometrist. And I met him through that other business. Beautiful, again, spiritual, expanded, beautiful heart, him and his wife. And Stelio and I became very good friends, having these expanded conversations and just being like, couldn't get enough of it. And then he introduced me to V2. And V2, although we didn't really see a lot of each other, it was interesting. We used to have phone calls. We used to just, every time we connected, it was profound. In fact, V2's nickname is the Buddha, right here,
Okay.
from his friends from years ago, because he just has such the inner wisdom that just comes out to support himself and everyone. And it was just like every conversation was profound. At the time, I didn't have as much confidence, I guess, in myself, and he was just like, he saw what I didn't see in myself yet, and was constantly reassuring and sharing and speaking to me like I was that person already. And it was just such a beautiful friendship, continues to be such an incredible friendship. And what I see him do with others, I mean, it's true, we could speak days about how he gives forward, even with the schools in Uxbridge, helping sponsor children, and like, it's just amazing. He is constantly giving, and that spirit in and of itself, beyond everything else that all the other, beautiful communication advice and things that he would share with me, was just so soul awakening. It was food for my soul, and so beautiful, and continues to be every time we have a conversation. And these are the people that we want to find in our life, is find these people who are in a place where they're in an expanded place, where they're always seeing, they can see you beyond what you can see in yourself. They're constantly pointing that out in us. These people exist in the world. We just have to find them if you don't already have them in your world. And your whole reality starts to change when you have these conversations. It's so beautiful.
So amazing, obviously. I mean, fast forward 2021,
yes.
month of May. And as you know, V2, because probably Judy has told you, every single Saturday we speak about what's going on in the world. I'm originally from Spain. We've already spoken what's going on in Spain. Texas is the end of the free. Already in March, the governor said no more, mandates, everything is lifted. Obviously, the private businesses decide what to do. We are here, all of us, and I always say the same thing. We are here not to judge anybody, because I think it's for a lot of people today, regardless of where they stand, right? And I think that our mission here with this show, Reality Check on the Planet, Living Without Fear, is just to show different perspectives to the people of the world, of people from different origins. And I would like to ask you, Vito, if that's okay. According to your incredible experience in your life, what do you think is happening right now in the planet?
Oh, that's a very profound question. At a certain level, when it first happened, I was like, oh my God, it brought me back to the war again. Back in when I was just a little kid, and all I hear was bombing and just fighting, guns, shotguns, curfews, every night curfews. If you found on the street, they would shoot you. This is before the war was over. And all of a sudden you hear bombs go off in the gas station and stuff like that. And I thought this was happening when we had the first lockdown. But then looking back, I go, wait a second. This is something deeper. It's at a much higher level. It's like the world, the planet is saying we are doing a lot of destructive things. And I mean, look at within a month, right? This totally clarity from the sky, no more pollution, like especially over China, right? That's what we're doing to the planet. So I'm like, yeah, as much as I don't like what's happening in Ontario, I mean, we're living in a communist world right now, because we can't go shopping, we can't go golfing, do a lot of things. Even though I got my shot already, vaccinated. And looking back, we spent 9 months on an island eating garbage after garbage, and we lived through that. So how can the little virus control me? But more importantly now, is only, like I said, I cannot change people. I can change what I do. So that's why I'm loving this conversation, because it's like, what are you doing? Just like what Hank Kennedy said. What can you do for the country? Not what the country can do for you, at a whole new level. So what I'm doing every day is if I catch my thoughts, anything that's negative comes up, is it can support me? No, and don't even go there. And through the law of attraction and motivation, that was going to attract. It's a whole new vibration. That makes sense?
Oh yeah, it does.
So I think it's very powerful, but then at the same time, unless you do the work, like for example, what Judy did was 3 months. That's doing the work. That's doing the work. I mean, we spent 9 months on an island. That's doing the work.
Facing that.
But now, Yeah, what do you do with it afterward? Is like, okay, now you get all this stuff come up. It's like a power garbage. I tell people, especially people with concussion, they go through life that you have no idea. That's why a lot of them commit suicide, because we cannot see what they go through. It's not a physical wound, it's in the brain. But did you know you can correct people's brain within 30 seconds? 30 seconds, that's how fast.
Wow.
But you know what they say, you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
But if you do the right thing, you will keep gaining.
Yeah.
And that's why it's been like when I'm seeing people with concussion now, it's like I don't want to waste, it's like I'm being channeled to help these people. And there's a spirit coming saying, these lenses is going to help this person, whether you believe it or not, just do it. And just do it.
Yeah.
And it happens. It's like I'm getting goosebumps telling you about it.
Yeah.
Me
It's not
too.
about the money, but the money comes anyway. I don't ask for the money, but it comes. It's because, like my grandfather said before, if you do it for the greater good, the universe will always move mountains for you.
Wow.
I've been having chills for the entire.
Do you understand what I'm saying
show.
here?
Of course.
I mean, when you read the book, you'll see. So again, see Judy, like, do you think I'm helping you? You have no idea how much you helped me. Did you know on Angel?
Yeah.
Exactly a year ago, she introduced me to Marie, who's my writer right now. And after one conversation, and I knew she was the one. I don't have to talk to anybody else. She's gonna do the book. And when I read the book now, even though I know the content, I couldn't stop reading it.
Yeah.
That's how captivating the book is. It's taking your life on its own. And I can only imagine when it goes out, whoever reads it, because Marie asked me, what is your goal? I said, I don't have goal anymore. This is about whoever is reading it, it's their journey. I don't have a ambition or ego saying, oh, this is going to help you. No, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to help you or not. If you're ready, like they said in Zen, when a student is ready, a teacher will appear. And it goes the other way too. When the teachers appear, more students will show up.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? So it's like I told Judy, this book, I told my dad, I still remember leaving the island, this is back in 1979, in December. The boat was slowly leaving the island, and you can see the wake from the boat. And I'm pointing to the trees, all these palm trees, whatever's left, because we chopped down all the trees to make fire.
Wow.
The island was literally clear when we left. From all the trees we had to cut down to make fire to whatever. And I told my dad at age 12 or 13, one day I'm gonna write a book about this island or our journey. And he looked at me and he goes, sure. Because in his mind it was like, how do I get you guys out of here to a freer land? Forget the book. Forget the book. It's like, what are you talking about? Okay. But now he knows I'm writing a book, so I've been interviewing him a lot because bringing back what happened. That's how I knew about the $50. I didn't know what we had. Okay, so it's a whole thing. It's like, what happened to you is what do you take from that? Instead of saying, oh, pull me, what is it that I learned? What can I do to make it better? Like when Dyer said, I always want to be better than myself yesterday, the day before. It's not what other people do. And then I remember one of his books says, don't die with the music still in you. That's why this book has to come out. People say, why do you want to write a book? I said, I don't know why I have to write a book, but it has to come out. It has to be official in writing, not verbal anymore. Right?
Vito, do you know, we've talked with Judy a few times already about the situation in Canada. You referred to the situation in Canada right now, May 2021. Do you know what's happening right now in Vietnam by any chance? Do you know what the conditions are there?
I think they are just free because, first of all, they don't have money to test people like we do here. Okay, I mean, all the money they're testing is just a waste of money. Okay, and for all I know, I mean, I'm a scientist myself. It could be false positive. Nobody talks about the false positive. They don't talk about the point. But I think in Vietnam, because it's money issue, they don't have the money to do the testing. Second of all, they live very healthy, even though they are poor, but they live very healthy. They grow their own food. Everything's organic there. They don't have hospital like we do here. So in a situation there is like the extreme. Either you're healthy or you die. There's no thing in between. Okay, that's what I learned when I went back in 2009, because they said everything they grow there is all natural, all healthy stuff, but they know there's no healthcare like we have here.
Yeah.
Here, the opposite is here people are living longer, but they're not healthy in a many level,
Wow.
spiritually, physically. All they do is eating pills, one pill after another pill. Right? I see patients who have medication this long, but they're unconscious. They keep taking it because the doctor told them to take it. So I asked the question, has it been helping you? And they look at me, they don't even know. I said, shouldn't you think about it first?
Wow.
Right? So all I can do is be the guide. I cannot tell them what to do, but I can be the instrument saying, okay, just like the famous prayer by French, let me be the guy, let me be the instrument of thy health. Okay, so this whole conversation here is a whole new level. We're opening the whole floodgates here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why this. By the way, do you know how this 1 billion idea came up? So it was my mastermind group. We call ourselves the Bag Brothers.
Okay.
It stands for Buddha, Aristotle, and Gandhi. The three of us been meeting ever since 2005, and we're all optometrists. And like I said, in 2013, I want to retire. Stell said, "No, you can't retire. You're too young to retire." I said, "Oh my God, it's like being in a mosque. You can't get out now." Okay. And he goes, "Close your eye, and you always tell us that to meditate." I said, "Okay, fine, I'll meditate." And literally, I closed my eye for about 30 seconds, and the idea of billion people came out, boom, like that. And I told Stell, "I got it. We're gonna help transform 1 billion people." And my mind's going nuts. I go, "What? Who are you? You little Asian? You didn't help on one." Ego, right? The monkey is coming out. Like, what are we crazy? So I let it sit with me. So then 1 year, literally 6 months later, we went to Africa. And in the safari, we seen the elephant. Yeah. Okay. And again, they talk about, have you heard of the story with the priest and the helicopter? Andrew, you heard that story?
The priest and the helicopter, no.
Yeah, as well as a metaphor, okay? I'll cut it short because I don't know how much time you guys have. I can talk this all day. So a priest said to the town that a flood is coming, God is going to save us. Okay? So flood, water came, which was heavy rain. It came, and the water level kept going up. And the priest, these official came with a canoe to help rescue him. The priest said, "No, you guys go. God's going to save us. We'll be fine. I'm fine. I'm staying here." So the water kept rising now to the top of the roof. And he's standing on the top of the roof, and a helicopter came to rescue him. He said, "No, it's good. God's going to save me. You guys don't trust. You guys go." So he went, and of course he drowned. He drowned. Now he's up there in heavens in front of St. Peter's. And he said to St. Peter, he goes, "What are you guys doing? You're supposed to save me." St. Peter said, "You idiot. What are the two canoes in the helicopter we sent you?"
We sent you both.
So it's blind faith.
Wow.
And the level of consciousness had to be here. If you're not there, you sleepwalk. Yeah. So going back to what you say, so I go, okay, 1 billion people is already in my consciousness now, right? I don't know how. I just know why. And I keep seeing this little 12 elephants sitting in the bookstore, in a gift shop. They were like almost calling me, like the trunk, right? So then one day I go, you know what? I'm going to talk to you. So I had a little free time. It was really exciting trip because it was like one of those migrating camp. You go, it's like a 5-star. Everything, they just create everything for you in the middle of wilderness.
Right.
I remember having a bubble bath at night, looking at the universe in the middle of nowhere. And then the elephants are everywhere, the lions are everywhere. I go, okay, we're in the middle of chaos. Talking about the entropy and extropy earlier, Andre, remember the two-step theory? With the chaos and the same thing here. You sit in the middle of the eye of a storm, but I feel it's the safest. Mm-hmm. Okay, so one day went to the gift shop. I said to the person there, I said, those elephants, are they for sale? He said, of course they are. I said, can I buy them all? She goes, of course. So I took them home in a little white bag. Okay.
How many of them?
12.
12.
I said, I got it. I'm going to find 12 people or entity or organization who are like-minded. It's going to help me move forward with this idea. And Judy's got one of those.
Awesome.
Okay. So then I have 11 other, which is all in the book.
Awesome.
Can you imagine? We all have our own 12 elephants. And the 6-degree connection, you know, that law of 6 degree?
Yeah.
Okay. The population of the world is about 7 to 8 billion people now. If we all have 1 billion, then we're done.
Yeah.
Again, it's not about saving the world. It's about saving us first. We're raising our own consciousness by doing that. And other people will see it and will follow, just like the critical mass.
Yes.
Going back to the 100 monkey theory. Have you heard of the 100 monkey experiment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where one monkey started taking a fruit. They all thought it's going to kill them, but one monkey started eating the fruit. So it was a true experiment from Japan.
Wow.
And the other monkeys come and follow. The next thing you know, all 100 monkeys did the same thing. None of them died.
Yeah.
They did the same experiment, another island. Same thing happened again. So to answer your question onto where we go with this, unless we raise the consciousness so high, we shine the light on the darkness, it's not going to change.
Absolutely.
And like Mother Teresa said, I'm not going to go against war. I'm going to fight for peace, not war. You can't fight darkness with darkness. You can only take away darkness with light. But in order to have the light, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
3 months in the wild, anti-COVID, 9 months on a desert island. We'll have no guidance. Just fend for yourself. Okay.
Wow.
Awesome. Amazing. Hey, Vitu, for the people that are watching this and are going to be watching the replays and everything, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Oh, you can do email or by phone, whatever.
What's your email?
VITUBANH8
Okay. Do you mind writing it here in the chat so we can?
Yeah, how do I do that? Okay.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that we put your data out there so people can reach out to you. What an amazing story!
Yeah,
I'll write it there.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
What an act of faith. Just to start with, right? I mean, they knew. I mean, Vitu's parents knew that they were doing the right thing, and they just jumped. It's funny how in the world of business, I always say that my favorite mantra for business is take imperfect action now. Take imperfect action now, and I think that it's been a blessing really to have you here today, Vitu.
Oh,
we would like to support your book, definitely.
And thank you. And again, part of the proceeds is going to go to all these charities, the refugees, the animal, saving the animal. Okay, but again, I learned from Mr. Murphy's one of my sponsors in Uxbridge, who passed away in 2008 of Alzheimer. As a matter of fact, I created a scholarship in honor of his name. And that's all about the giving again. So he always taught me this. You don't want to give people a fish. You must teach them how to fish. But in order to teach them how to fish, you must teach yourself how to fish.
Exactly.
And there's multiple levels in that. So, yeah. I mean, this is, and I'm so glad I got on this because I have no idea what Judy was going to ask me to do. I just didn't prepare at all. This is myself. This is my authentic self. This
of course,
is me.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There's no preparation needed. This is my life. Okay?
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Judy, well, obviously, I mean, it's been a pleasure to have you here. We'll make sure that when you launch the book, we'll bring you back. We'll do
Absolutely. I appreciate all this. And again, and you guys, I put an email in the chat, so you can reach me there.
We'll share this.
I just put it on all the social media outlets now have your email. So
perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Email from V2 again. I'm gonna put it again here twice, so it's everywhere there. So we'll definitely have you back whenever the book is going to be launched. We'll make sure that we put the book everywhere that has to be shown. So please reach out to Judy.
Where are you
in Dallas, Texas?
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Perfect. One of my good mentors there. He's for the vision therapy. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Okay, small world.
Absolutely.
Very small world.
Small world.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you, Judy. Before we go, I mean, obviously, thank you very much for bringing, V2 to the show today. Amazing story, amazing testimonial, amazing what he's going to do moving forward. If people would like to meet with you, to reach out to you, Judy, what's the best way to do it?
All of my social media is Goddess Temple Cacao, or my email is Judy, Judy, at justjudy.ca. Really
Wonderful.
simple. Yeah.
Okay, so again, I've been having chills from the entire explanation, from the entire interview conversation with V2. So there's a lot of there's a very clear divine plan on what V2 is doing.
It's a divine plan. It is a divine plan.
Absolutely.
So my only last advice, not even advice, it's like what just came up now. It's like, be present. What's gonna happen now?
Exactly. Be present.
And watch the helicopter and the canoes.
Exactly.
Follow your heart. Okay.
Exactly. Watch the helicopter and the canoes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, thank you very much, V2. Thank you very much, Judy. Again, another program of Reality Check on the Planet, living without fear. New perspective, new viewpoint, incredible viewpoint from V2 today. And everybody watching us today, obviously, thank you very much. I'm sure that you have enjoyed this conversation as much as we have. Thank you for being with us today. And again, we'll see each other again next week. Have a wonderful weekend. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.